Well, let's toast. Cheers. Thank you for having us in.
You're welcome to us.
To us and to new friends. So I kind of want to start from the beginning. I'd love for you to tell us about where you went to school, Institut Paul Bocuse in Lyon, France. It was just recently renamed for the world-famous chef, but
Indeed.
Tell me about this world-famous school.
The Institut Paul Bocuse was named after, of course, Paul Bocuse, but it used to be called the, let me translate, called les School of Culinary Arts of Écully. Écully, the small little village on the suburb of Lyon. Lyon is the capital of food in France, and Paul Bocuse presided from the beginning the school. We had the chance, the unbelievable chance to be close to him, to work with him, to see him, to witness what he was doing. That was pretty cool. So I got out of school in early 90s with him. Served my time in the military as I had to do. That was my duty as a French citizen, and moved to the United States in 1996.
What were some of your favorite memories from that time with?
Well, really being close to guys that do incredible things, and to them it seems like flipping a burger. You know, you look at this and you're like, who does this?
Yeah.
Who can make things like this? You know, it sounds impossible to you, but done with such nonchalance, it was pretty cool.
Wow.
Really, really cool.
What was an average day like?
Work. You know, culinary school in France is very hard. You know, some days we start at 5 a.m.
Wow.
and some days we finish at midnight. This is culinary school in France.
Wow.
Very hard.
Was it challenging to get in? Did you have confidence that you would be accepted?
I did have confidence that I was going to be accepted, but not everybody got accepted. And it's still, as of today, not an easy school to get into. The restaurant, what we call the application restaurant, the school restaurants, is a 1-star Michelin. So it's serious. It's very serious. Yeah. Very harsh.
How did you have the confidence?
But well, I was raised my whole life with food. My mother was a food instructor, and so it was natural.
Mm. Now, you were trained and mentored by the world-famous chef Paul Bocuse. What are some of the things and your biggest takeaways that you still think about today that you learned from
that
him?
Time? It's very rigid. You know, the way you learn in French culinary is rigid. I mean, there's no music, there's no whistling, there's no humming, it's when you enter a kitchen, you're ready to work. Yeah. If you're not shaved, they send you home. If you don't have your knife, they send you home. If you're not dressed properly, you don't have your hat, they send you home. So it's very rigid. Yeah. The culinary aspect is incredible, but the lifestyle is, there's no compromise. Mm-hmm. No compromise. Business. They mean it.
I'm curious where your love of cooking began.
Well, I'm French, so you already start with love of food. You know, you're having lunch, and you're already thinking of what you're going to have for dinner. It's kind of like a vice. You know, you're nonstop thinking about food, and then it's magic. Cooking is incredible. It's doing things with raw products is incredible. It's chemistry.
Yeah.
So it's very fun, and then at the same time you're pleasing people. It beats a lot of things.
Yeah.
You know?
When did you know that you wanted to make it a career?
Young. When I was 17, I knew that's what I wanted to do. My father made me go to school and get a bachelor in science. He said, my father always told me, you're going to be who you want to be, but this is the minimum I'm asking from you. And after that, you can be anything you want. And so that's what I did. And so when I entered the culinary school in Lyon, I already had experience in restaurants, that I had worked here and there. But at the same time, I passed my degree in culinary from there. I also passed 2 national exams in, at the same time. And after 3 years with them, I kept doing internships in places, and then I was ready. I served as the culinary instructor in a military camp also, right after that. And then you're ready, but it's always what I wanted to do.
Sure.
I never wanted to be an astronaut or or cop or no.
Yeah, that's so cool when you find your passion at a young age.
Yeah.
Your career has taken you all over the world. Guadalupe, Puerto Rico, New Orleans, Paris. We have to take a short break, but after that I want to hear how you landed here in northern Michigan.
Okay.
Okay, so with your experience all over the world, I'm dying to know how you landed in northern Michigan.
Well,
It's probably a lot of steps from graduate from 7.
It's almost like the ball going down the hill, and I landed in Grand Rapids first,
Okay.
where I almost lived 9 years in Grand Rapids.
Okay.
I worked for the Grand Plaza. I worked for Steelcase, and I was the executive chef at Restaurant Toulouse in Saugatuck for almost 4 years before my wife and I bought this place.
Okay, so you kind of made your way up Michigan.
Slowly.
What made you fall in love with the area?
Really, it was a career move that I wanted to do for quite some time. I had been looking to own my own restaurant for a while, and it's just happenstance. My wife's family happened to dine this restaurant in winter 2004, and found out the place was for sale.
Right here.
Right here. And so they contacted us, gave us all the information we needed to have, and a year later we were owners.
Wow, and so you're almost coming up on 20 years.
So this is my 18th year here, yeah.
Oh my gosh. So you were in Saugatuck, found this building, and did you feel like did it just feel right, or did it feel like you were taking a chance? I mean,
well, we took a chance.
Yeah.
You know, we took a big chance because we had to sell everything we owned to buy this. That was a move. It's like you can't go back. You know, this was very scary. More for my wife than for me, because I knew what I wanted, but my wife was a little bit like, oh, I'm not sure this is the right move. But we did it. She was pretty awesome in helping me follow my dreams, and which I hope have become her dreams too. But it was a really big move, really scary move.
yeah. And so what was it about this building? I mean, we're right by Glen Lake. It's obviously gorgeous, but was it like when you walked in, you just knew? Like, what really drew you to this?
We knew that's what we wanted. We arrived in the place, good reputation, incredible clientele. We are on Glen Lake, and the clientele is amazing. And but it had to be a package. When we arrived in the restaurant, we knew there was some work to be done, but it was operational. But as we had sold our home, we needed to have a place to stay, and this restaurant came with a little home that was in really bad shape.
And is this the one that was on the property?
Right next door.
Okay.
And that was a little scary. It was a little iffy, I would say. But, you know, we fixed it, and here we are. We raised our 2 kids here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What are some of the hardest parts about owning and operating a restaurant in northern Michigan?
I don't really know if I could say that legally on TV. Staffing
Staffing, yeah.
is a big is very difficult. Food quality and not that much anymore, because I can order stuff in France or in Hawaii, and it's overnight pretty much.
Wow.
The logistic has become got rid of those issues very quickly. So it's pretty amazing. We can get anything we want in northern Michigan. It's winters.
Yeah.
Winters are rough. But again, I try to stay positive, and some night, if we don't have business, we just shut down at 5. We don't even open the restaurant, and go home and have dinner with my kids.
Sure. Well, on a positive note, I was going to ask, what are some of the best parts of owning and operating a place in northern Michigan?
So I live in paradise. That's number one. This is paradise.
I agree.
I've been welcomed here by neighbors and customers and people that have become my friend like I've never been welcomed anywhere else in the world. That's a positive thing. And everything about living here, despite the fact that we are in far country, is pleasant. School system, everything is good here.
Yeah. Kind of tying back to how you can get food basically overnight, did the pandemic affect, well, obviously you had to shut down and make changes, but are you still feeling the effects of kind of the logistics of that?
It was hard at the beginning. I think that 2021 was an incredible year for us. We had to think outside of the box. And present us in a different way. We lost seats in the dining room, but we built a bigger deck that created an extra 30 seats in the restaurant.
Wow.
So we are pretty much back to where we want to be. Business has been excellent, but we had to adjust. That definitely.
Yeah. So La Bicasa, am I saying it correct?
La Becasse.
La Bicasa. The food is influenced by the West Indies.
Indeed.
And your mother's renditions of country food from her childhood home in the east of France.
Indeed, correct.
So tell me about the food here and what kind of dishes will we find?
It's French, all right? I mean, even if it's from the French West Indies, it's still French. So but you will find a strong influence of my roots, the Caribbean roots, Eastern France, but also the influence of where I lived, near Toulouse, or where I studied near Lyon. So it's very French. It's adapted to the palate, where in some dishes I've introduced a little bit more sweet, tangy flavors to please maybe a more American palate. To go also with American wines. You know, it doesn't look like it, but there's somehow. I'm not saying that I did that, but there's like a subconscious study of what's going on in America. Definitely.
Right. Is there a dish that's been on the menu since you opened the place?
Since I opened, so definitely the duck duo. So we have a duck confit. Served with a duck breast, seared to temp, with a sweet potato gratin, which has a little bit of maple syrup in it, and a maple syrup vanilla demi-glace. So there you go. We incorporate a sweet potato gratin, which in my vision would be more Caribbean style, with some French classic and a little bit of maple syrup for Northern Michigan.
Oh, I love it. Did you spend time in the kitchen with your mother growing up? And is there a dish that really screams, you know, that reminds you most of your mother?
Yes. You know, when I work in the kitchen with my mom, we did the dishes, or I did the dishes that she didn't want to do. All right, it's like you know, learn your way around the kitchen, buddy. One dish that I served, it's not always on my menu. It very often appears on the special board. Is the onion pie, the onion tart. It's a classic dish from Eastern France that, as a kid, we were just frowning upon. You know, just like again. But it's a dish that's very specific to Eastern France. So it's bacon and onions as a filling for a tart.
Yum.
It's incredible.
How does the area spark creativity in the kitchen? Yeah, how are you inspired by?
Well, you have all the Northern Michigan products. I don't work very much with cherries, but I do sometimes. But you get the maple syrup, you get the apples, and we've got an incredible amount of beautiful little farms that are organic, natural. That and the farm that I work with is less than a mile from here. And those people are friends. Their kids worked for me. It sounds all natural that I work with those folks.
Yeah.
It's an amazing farm.
Oh, that's so cool.
So yeah, creativity, and they ask me, what do you want us to plant for you? How can it be better than that?
Yeah. I was just going to ask how you incorporate seasonal ingredients, and like what the process. Do you think about, okay, what's in season and then create a dish for it, or do you have your dishes and try to?
Well, I have my dishes that I adapt based on what's available. If it's asparagus or greens, or I've worked a lot last summer with kale. We made an incredible kale salad, which is not really my style. You know, I kind of have to, you know, work very hard at not being such a sauce and heavy meal kind of guy, to work with something a little bit more fresh and more friendly for a lot of people. But it does bring so much. There's incredible products that you can work with locally, mushrooms, you know, it's really incredible.
Do you have a favorite?
A favorite?
A favorite local ingredient?
I do love the asparagus.
Yeah, yeah.
I do work a lot with maple syrup. I always have a local fish on my menu, whether it's salmon or whitefish.
Yeah.
I like to work with salmon more.
Okay.
Whitefish is, it is what it is. You know, it's northern Michigan. You got to have it.
Yeah.
Vegetable-wise, the tomatoes, the carrots, the greens. The greens are incredible. It's fun.
What's an easy cooking tip you could give us? Like, what do you see? Is there something that you see everyone kind of doing wrong?
Doing wrong.
Or is it, yeah, what's just something like, just very...
Don't burn the butter and the garlic. You know, the garlic. Garlic is very important. French people will not be eaten by vampires, all right? We have too much garlic in our diet. Don't burn the garlic.
Don't burn, okay, I like it. And before we get in, we have a final like quick fire, rapid fire round. Before we get into that, what has just kept you going all these years? Seems like you have a true like love and passion for your craft.
I do love what I do. I do love what I do. It's not easy, and sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's really hard. But you know, I have incredible employees. I have my wife keeps me focused a lot. She does, and you know what I do, the customers, the setting. My restaurant is very successful, and that keeps me going. That you know gives you the faith.
Yeah, and do you have any advice for someone who might want to go, you know, be a chef or open a restaurant? What kind of advice can you give?
My best advice. Don't. All right. It's a very hard job. There's nothing glamorous about being a chef. I mean, you know, I've been doing this for 30 years, and I mean, today I get a little bit of recognition, but there's no glamour.
Yeah.
There is absolutely no glamour in doing what I do. So, if you are not 100% in love with what you're doing, don't do it.
Great advice. Okay, so I'm going to ask a couple of questions, and if you can answer with just like one word, whatever comes to mind first.
Okay.
Just give it to me. All right. What's one thing you eat, and whether it be like a junk food or maybe something in, like a guilty pleasure that like might be kind of embarrassing?
Chicken wings.
Do you make them yourself, or is there? Okay.
I love chicken wings.
Nice. What's your favorite season?
Fall.
Fall, okay. Favorite outdoor activity?
Rugby.
Oh, is there a league up here, or is there a team?
There's a team in Traverse City, indeed.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Favorite restaurant besides your own?
I like a lot of restaurants, but I will say the Cook's House.
Oh, yeah. Favorite wine?
Bordeaux.
And a favorite dish? If you could just pick one, like final meal.
Final meal. Good duck meal.
Sunrise or sunset?
I'm a sunrise.
Oh, okay. And the question we ask everyone is if you could have a drink with anyone and they could be dead or alive, who would it be?
That'd be my mom.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that. Did she ever make it? Did your parents ever make it to this restaurant?
My mom passed away before.
Oh, well, I'm sure they'd be so proud. Yeah. And that's an excellent answer. Thank you for having us in.
You're welcome.
It was so nice to get to know you.
Thank you for having me.
Can't wait for this season. We'll be back. So cheers.
To us.
To us.